This year, I've been eating a ton of junk food, way more
cross
candy than
country
I
over
usually
track
do.
just because like
I haven't
of the
lifted at
team
all.
culture in our
I've been to the
yeah,
gym
like
as much as
everything.
I'm Joshua Potts, Mr. Pottspool, and you're watching Trackish, where we talk to some of the best high school track and field and cross country athletes and share their personalities on a big stage. This week, we have someone who has been dominant over the past 2 years in the Northeast. I'm talking about a two-time New Jersey state champion, one-time Meet of Champions cross country state champion, a 4x8 and DMR national record holder, that she's been doing it with Union Catholic over the past 2 years, and it's continuing here in year 3. A New Balance athlete, Paige Sheppard, is joining us on Trackish. This is awesome, Paige. I'm so glad you're here. We met at Woodbridge. You ran amazing. You have a great race tomorrow lined up for you at Shore Coaches. Just how's it all going so far?
Yeah, thanks for having me. The cross country season has kind of just gotten started for us. We've had 2 races. Woodbridge was our first kind of 3-mile course. So yeah, I'm just really excited for tomorrow to get a chance to race at Homedale. It's actually my favorite course, so I think it'll be a lot of fun.
And that's a course that you race like all the time in New Jersey,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it's where we have our Meet of Champions. So we'll race it 3 times this season. Tomorrow we'll have Shore Coaches, which is kind of just like we get a chance to run the course and kind of have fun with it. And then we have our state meet, which is like groups. So that's kind of where the teams kind of compete within like little sections to decide who's going to Meet a Champs, which is just kind of a little more exclusive compared to groups. So yeah, I'm really excited, and I think we're going to have a blast tomorrow.
And how do you feel like this? Well, not even just the season's going so far, but just with your summer training and coming off of a really great track season where you ran really great 800 times and 1600 times and transitioning over to cross country. How was that transition for you?
Yeah, I think every year cross country for me just kind of levels up a little bit more. I've always kind of seen it as a tool to kind of benefit my track season, but after this year, I think we're kind of approaching cross with a little more energy and kind of treating it as its own kind of sport and just trying to win and extend and kind of have that opportunity. I think we've gone into the previous years trying to do well and not exactly kind of finishing the way we wanted to. And we just got a lot of great freshmen this year. And this is kind of our seniors' final year doing NXN. So I think we just really want to end on a big close and see what we've got this year. So we're really excited to get a chance to race it. And like I said, it just continues to kind of evolve for us. So I'm just really happy to see what we can do. The race comes first and everything else is just a distraction.
Hey, did y'all hear that? Like, you guys need to rewind that back because Paige Sheppard had the IMA of Runner Essential Quote of the Week on the newest episode of Trackish. New Jersey cross country state champion and 2-time NXN qualifier gave the best advice for competing at national championships. It's essential to put the race first. There's so many distractions at nationals, from meeting pros, athlete parties, traveling, and all the gear. But with that, you need to make sure that all your hard work doesn't go to waste.
Understand that you've put in all the work and you don't want to let it go to waste.
That cross-country essential should go hand in hand with your daily IMA. This all-in-one formula for runners is built for performance and trusted for recovery. Use code FLOWSPORTS for 10% off. Also watch the newest episode of Trackish with Paige and get caught up with all the gems in this episode. Man, you jumped in some topics I was gonna go to from a second. You went out there and said you trying to win NXN.
Yeah.
Like that's a big thing. And I want to go back to that in a second. But before we do, here on MileSplit, Paige, we've kind of documented your entire journey. I want to talk about where it all really started for you and how that's really made you the runner that you are to the day. But before we get there, I think it's only right that we check out this video of when I think probably your first interview with MileSplit when you're about like 7 or 8 years old.
Yes, I think I do know the video. Yeah, it's very memorable. And I think I watched it before Woodbridge with some of my friends because some of the freshmen haven't seen it. But it's definitely an iconic video.
Well, let's check it out for a second.
Yes, I know
This
the
is
one.
Corey from MileSplit here with Paige Sheppard, 7 years old, just won the girls 8 and under 800 meter dash in 2:43, 15 AU Junior Olympic Games. Congratulations, Paige. How do you feel?
Good.
Good? How do you feel you ran the race today?
Proud.
Yeah? Did you try to go any type of speed? Did you try to go fast or slow?
I try to go fast.
Okay. What do you like about the 800 meter dash or the run?
It's fun.
It's fun? How long have you been running?
3 years.
Okay. Do you think you'll continue to run after this?
Yes.
All right. You're from Plainfield, New Jersey, right? What's your favorite food in New Jersey?
Onions.
Onions? Okay. That's weird. Why do you like onions?
We'll stop there with the onions part. I think that was probably my favorite part. And then you talk about art, I think a little bit in the video. But what does that bring back? What kind of memories does that video bring back for you of just when you first started out running and going to big meets like the AAU Junior Olympics?
Yeah, I think honestly, before doing this, I kind of thought about that when I was in the bathroom, just kind of how far I've come. I think my interview skills have definitely improved since then. Just having the opportunity to do so many over my track and cross country career. But yeah, it's just kind of where I started. And it's kind of fun to look back on everything and see that's kind of where I was then. And I think I'd run like 2:47 and 800 then. And to kind of be able to say, I've run 2:01 now was just such a huge accomplishment. And I know she would be so proud of me to see like just how I've improved over the years and that I still love doing this and that I'm still here.
Growing up in the sport, I'm curious, like, when did you feel like you became a fan of it? I started running when I was really younger too, like when I was about 5 years old. And I don't feel like I became a fan until I watched Usain Bolt run at the 2008 Olympics. And I was all like, dang, like I really love this sport. For you, when did you become like a fan, start knowing the athletes and being all like, man, I love the track side and the sports side of it as well?
Yeah, I think kind of just like you, I started running when I was around like 4 or 5. I used to live in Plainfield and now I live in Hillsborough, New Jersey. And there used to be a track by my house that I used to just run laps around because I just love doing it. So I feel like almost every day I used to just, my mom would take me and I would run. And then she signed me up for this track club and I just kind of started running. And that interview was kind of my first big race. And from there, I kind of started doing the Colgate Women's Games every like winter. And that was kind of just, I had a lot of fun and being able to race such incredible athletes at such a young age and just really having fun with it. And it was, track something that I did for fun, but I also played a few other sports. During that time, I played volleyball and I played basketball. And so COVID was kind of really when I made that big switch to focus solely on track. I kind of dropped the other two and just kind of went all in on it. And I switched track teams and we kind of, Coach McCabe, we had like speed skills. And that kind of became a team that I was a part of and just kind of grew from there.
Yeah, absolutely. Have there been any pro runners that you've looked up to over the years?
Yeah, I think I looked up to Cindy McLaughlin for a long time, especially because of her history at UC. I think she's incredible and it's just been a big inspiration because of just how incredible she is. And then recently, I really loved watching Keely Hodgkinson in the 800. Her comeback after her injury this season, being able to run 1:54, I think is just impeccable and shows her strength. And I would love to be able to do something like that one day.
When Sydney breaks a world record or American record, does Union Catholic announce it like every single time? I feel like, yeah, they have to.
Yeah, I think she's a big part of our history. I think last year she actually came to the school and did like a meet and greet, like speak kind of thing for the track team. So she does come back from time to time. And I think a few years ago she was here getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. So yeah, we definitely make a big deal about her. She's a huge part of UC. So, and we have like paintings and stuff of her. But yeah, we love being able to represent her and kind of, she always holds a place here at UC.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're becoming such a huge deal for UC as well. And not only just you, but your entire team. We talked about the national records that you guys hold on the relay side and the past 2 years making the NXN straight with you on the team. It's been amazing to see your guys' development. But I want to go to this though. The past 2 years, y'all have placed 10th place at NXN on the team side. Um, what do you think is going to be the key for you and the team just in general to like kind of improve on that 10th place mark and keep on reaching for the goals that you guys want nationally and probably even just regionally from Northeast to New Jersey, meet the champs and everything?
Yeah, I think this year we're kind of just going at it with a little bit more precision, a little more focus, and a little more of an end goal that we can't really repeat next year. I think over the past 2 years, it's kind of been we want to run really well. And
Mhm.
when we don't, there's always what we have next year. And we don't really have the opportunity this year. Ella and Emmy, both major parts of our team, are seniors this year. And obviously they'll be graduating. And so even though I think we'll be still amazing next year, it won't ever be the same. And I think we really just kind of want the opportunity to make them proud and make ourselves proud and just leave NXN on a happy note for them.
Yeah. What did the second place finish at Woodbridge really mean for y'all as a team? And what did it show you compared to previous years?
Yeah, we had never earlier in the season run a race kind of like that. In New Jersey, we don't have that kind of competition. So it was kind of our first opportunity ever kind of at UC to see how we compare to other teams early in the season. And I think it kind of just cemented that we can achieve what we want to achieve. Getting second without having Sophia to run for us was just like outstanding. I think we kind of expected to lose, and to know that we didn't lose by that much
Mhm.
without being fully loaded was just a huge weight off our shoulders, and kind of knowing that what we're doing isn't necessarily crazy, and that as long as we stay focused and keep putting the work in, that we can achieve what we hope to achieve.
Yeah, that was a really close race. I remember
Yeah.
them like tallying up the points and like we may have to go to a sixth place runner
Yeah.
tie. So super exciting stuff, most definitely. Before we get further into the podcast interview, wherever you
Yeah.
want to call it, I do want to talk about your track-ish. Let's talk about some of the things that you really love about track and field, these niche things that we always love debating about if it's track or cross country. So Paige, what's your track-ish? Right here first up. Do you say PR or personal best?
I say PR. I think, I don't know, personal best just sounds, it just sounds weird. I think PR is just, that's the word to go.
Okay, there we go. There we go. All right, night races or morning races? What do you like more?
I prefer night races, and in general, when I'm racing, I prefer to have as much time as possible. I think last year the girls went first for NXN, which was nice because it gets muddy and like the course gets really gross really quickly. But it was at 10, and I think I was freaking out a little bit because it was so early for me, and I feel like we weren't there soon enough. So I am happy that the girls go second this year, and I think even for the 4x8 freshman year, it got delayed. And I
Mm.
was really happy because I just like having all that extra time before going into a race.
All right, do you do strides or striders?
I would say I do strides.
Okay, okay. Yeah, if you do striders, I don't know what you're doing, but
Yeah, definitely strides.
do you play or run cross country?
I run cross country. I think it's really funny when people say play because that's just not what it is. It's you're running. So
Are we calling them trainers or just running shoes?
I would say alternate between trainers and running shoes. I think it kind of depends. I think some shoes are definitely running shoes, and then some I feel like are more specifically for practice. You know,
Mm.
a running shoe doesn't necessarily have to be for training, I feel like.
There you go, there you go. Silent runs or talkative runs?
Um, I feel like it depends on who I'm with. I think some people sometimes can be energy draining, and I would prefer a silent run, but I think there's definitely times where talkative, like fun runs can be great. We actually have been doing this year with the freshmen. There's this game called Imposter,
Mm.
where basically it's like a game on your phone where everyone gets a card and it either says a word or you're the imposter. And if you're the imposter, then everybody just says something that relates to the word, and you have to figure out who doesn't know what it is. And we've been doing that with the freshmen, and it's been a lot of fun. So I think it kind of depends on the run, but yeah, either one.
Last one, run with a phone or without a phone?
I run with the phone. I really like listening to music. I think it just really pumps me up. And, you know, I think a run can be silent and still have like sound, if that makes sense. So, and I think music is just like a nice way to fill the space.
What are we bumping to right now when we're running?
I think during the track season, I was really into country. So like Morgan Wallen's new album, I was listening to, I think, for like every race. And then over the like cross season, I've listened to Olivia Rodrigo recently. So I'll kind of get into something and kind of stick with it for a season, and
Yeah.
then we'll see what kind of happens during the winter.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. There you go. Yeah, it's gonna be a long winter for sure, as it
Yeah.
always is for Union Catholic. And I feel like the interesting thing for you is that you're always gonna be battling on the team side, and then you're gonna be
Yeah.
battling on the individual side too, as
Mhm.
you're usually the low stick and have the potential to be winning
Yeah.
NXR Northeast like you've done 2 times before, and
Mhm.
potentially could be winning a national championship individually. So I'm curious, how do you really balance that team and individual side of just like the goals that you have for the team and the goals for yourself when you go into a race?
Yeah, I would say it's not easy. There's definitely a lot of weight on my shoulders because as important as kind of the 4, 5, 6, 7 runners are, I think being able to kind of be in a position at all kind of falls on your top one and your top two runners. So there's definitely a lot of weight there, but I know that I've kind of been conditioned to be able to handle that
Mhm.
over just kind of having the track season with the 4x8 and the DMR, and also just these past 2 years kind of being a number one runner for UC. So it is definitely a challenge, but I know that I'm up to it. And I think the way that I balance it is kind of, I think of those individual goals of wanting to win NXR and wanting to, place like in the top five, maybe even win NXN. And kind of knowing that part of what's motivating me to get there is my team, because I know it's not just me running it for myself, it's also running it for them. So they kind of work in tandem. I push myself individually by knowing that I'm also working for my team, and I push myself for the team knowing that it's also something that I get to do for myself. So kind of understanding both roles and knowing that they kind of work together kind of helps motivate me even when it can kind of feel overwhelming.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm curious too, like, how do you feel like that's developed since your freshman year? Because you won NXR Northeast freshman
Yeah.
going in, helping to lead UC. How do you feel like that weight on your shoulders has kind of developed over the years and just been able to handle that?
Yeah, I think it's something that I just have grown to love. I think, especially with track, when it comes to like relays, and I'll explain how this kind of relates to cross. But I think there's people who like to lead, and there's people who like to be the anchor. And I hate leading. I feel like that kind of sets the tone of the race, and I would never want to do that. I know Jamia kind of did it our freshman year for the 4x8, and Sophia did it for the DMR this year. And I'm so grateful for that because I would never want to be in that position. I love kind of closing and knowing that I get to finish it off and everything gets to be on my shoulders. And I think that that kind of carries into cross because it's kind of the same thing, even though it's a little different because I'm like leading instead of closing, but everything kind of starts on my shoulders and everyone else kind of gets to carry off of that. And just knowing that makes me feel so great because it's kind of stressed off my teammates and I get to be there for them in the best way possible.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. I love that. All right, before we get you out of here, I do want to talk about potential of nationals and just national competition. You
Yeah.
guys have been there the past 2 years. What have you learned? Like, take us into the NXN race and the NXR races. What have you learned? Like, what makes those races so challenging and so hard to kind of like figure out from a team aspect and an individual aspect as well?
Yeah, I think the thing that makes it so difficult is because there is so much going on. I would say NXN is the most track experience that you'll get. There is an after party. We get to see the Nike headquarters. I remember we play a lot of ping pong during NXN. And so there is a lot going on and there's a lot of glitz and glamour to kind of get distracted by. And it's really easy to kind of get lost in everything and forget the main reason that you're there, which is to race and to just kind of stand tall on that national stage. And I think that when you get blindsided by that, you kind of forget what you're there for, and it can kind of taper out at the end and
Mhm.
not be what you're looking for. And I don't think that we've necessarily gone into it being like we're all here for the party or the experience necessarily, but just kind of by the end getting a little bit distracted. And I think this year we're really trying to go in with a clearer head and focusing on the race, because it is just kind of like I said, that final opportunity. So I think just kind of like the hard part is being able to keep your head on your shoulders and understand that the race comes first and everything else is just a distraction. And there comes a time when you can kind of feed into that distraction when the race is over, when you're at dinner, but when it kind of comes down to it on the day, you have to be focused and understand that you've put in all the work and you don't want to let it go to waste.
There you go. There you go. All right. You've been a great interview, Paige. It's been wonderful. Before we get you out
Thank
of here,
you.
though, I like to ask all my guests, since Trackish, I think it's all about just having fun and
Yeah,
really looking at to the interesting and the weird sides of the sport. And ultimately, it's just fun. So, what
yeah.
makes running fun for you?
I would probably say the runner's high. I think that feeling when you step into a race and you know that you're going to give it your best shot and you're just going to run and you can feel the wind kind of all around you and hear the crowd is just the most incredible feeling on the planet. I feel like that's how Brooks felt. That's how New Balance Outdoor Nationals felt. It's just you're there racing and everything around you just kind of blurs away and you're just in the moment.
Yeah, there you go. I love that. The runner's high, you can never get enough of it. You feel me?
Yeah.
Uh, I appreciate you, Paige. Best of luck this weekend. You're two more other times racing at Homedale this season,
Mhm.
and can't wait to see you later in the year. How you doing?
Yeah. Thank you so much.